JobStreet founder Mark Cheng. Back in 1997, when he started JobStreet, he thought that he would start a company and he had a lot of free time to drink coffee at any hour. He got it at December 2014 when he sold the company for $590 million US. And at that time, after almost 20 years, people say overnight success. Right? He only got freedom almost 20 years down the road, right? Okay, here, there, but it's a long hardship. So I think in the end, it's why you do it. Forget whether it's AI, forget whether blockchain, forget whether it's IoT or whatever it is. Are we making lives better? Are we making it easier, cheaper, better, faster? Right? I think if you think on it, in the end, it nails down to this, right? Even when I was a uni student, there's this guy that came in and gave a talk that very few people turned up. We had 10 plus people. I never heard of him. I saw free food. I went in. And that person is Elon Musk, right? He started from somewhere as well. That's 20 over years ago, right? And he's unknown, right? For a founder that built, that is very successful, that built through. You start from one customer, the first customer, the second customer. If you can get each customer to love your product, love your services, you will succeed. And I would say that as a founder, think through. No one cares more about you than you yourself, right? And I think in the end, it's the buck stop at you and how do you build through.
I also wanted to talk about entrepreneurial resilience and give this kind of thought experiment. Like if you were to create a resilience index or some kind of measure for entrepreneurial resilience, what would be the top 3 kind of metrics if you were to pick? Obviously there could be more, but maybe what would have the biggest weight in your mind?
Yeah, very good question, right? I think the first time someone asked me this question, resilience metrics, right? Index, right? I think that it's a very relevant and very hot truth. And you think on it as startup. The startup failed when the founder gives up. Right? I just recorded one of my sessions just now, actually minutes earlier before this video recording.
Oh my God.
I was just telling the founder that saying that I know it's tough. I know you are going through a lot of hardship. But the day the startup will fail is the day that you say, I'm done with this. I'm not going to continue. Right? So that's if you think under the resilience index in the end is I would say maybe you can go back to why you do something, right? A founder. And many of you as a founder, if you want quick money, startup is not the thing. You want fame, I think there are many better ways. You want work-life balance, I think this maybe is very far off. Like JobStreet founder Mark Cheng, back in 1997 when he started JobStreet, he thought that he would start a company and he had a lot of free time to drink coffee at any hour. He got it at December 2014 when he sold the company for $590 million US. And at that time, after almost 20 years, people say overnight success. Right? He only got freedom almost 20 years down the road, right? Okay, here, there, but it's a long hardship. So I think in the end, it's why you do it. What's the purpose of you doing it, right? What are the problems that you care deeply that you want to solve? So as an entrepreneur, don't fall in love with the problem and the solutions. Fall in love with problems, right? Why you want to solve environment problem? Why you want to solve this transportation problem? Why you want to solve this SME problem? Why you want to solve the unbanked problem? Why you want to solve what problem? And why? Why it relates to you. It's not that AI is cool, that's why you want to do it. It's not because ESG is the talking point and you want to do it, right? I think in the end, it's that why that resonate to you. So if you ask me the resilience index, number 1 is that why in each person. Because that's the one that's going to keep you going, keep you pull through, right? I think that why I will put it by far. If I have 100 score points to put, I will actually put 70, 80 on this first one. Is that right? Because I think that it's there, right? The why you do it. You have all the options. And I think many of you that are here, even while you choosing to join Insidia Ventures Academy or even tuning in for this an hour or so, you got much better things to do in your life. Why do you tune into this, right? That's because you have certain reason, right? And that's the thing that you choose in, right? Instead of you dialing in, listening to Paulo and me thinking about this, right? But for some people that you choose to dial in, this became relevant. And even after you choose to dial in on this, let's take an example, right? Many of you, after listening to it, you don't do anything. It's just like entertainment value. Oh, I hear it. Okay, I'm done, right? Or whatever, put it back. Some of you, the resilient one, the innovative one, the resourceful one will be the one that's going to take actions. So I think the why, and the second one I would say is resilience is prime towards action, right? You take action, bias towards actions. The people then, in every observation, a conversation like this, an article you read, someone you meet, what are the things that you're going to do to it, right? After you listen to this for an hour, I mean, right now we're almost an hour mark, right? You listen to this much. Have you picked up something? And if you have picked up something, are you going to do anything? Are you going to get someone that you know that will benefit from this and do something, right? I think that is a key part, right? And in the end, if you think back, last time we attend a workshop, training, okay, have a great conversation with someone, do we do something, right? I think that's basically pull through. So I think the resilience on it is consistency in doing this and continue, right? Why you do something, and then do you go and do something? And I think that's the two. And I think maybe the third one that is the resilience will keep on if you can continue to solve the problem. Maybe not this one, the third one is not as direct, but I think that is the ability to think out of the box and be able to have some progress and solutions, enable you to stay resilient, enable you to keep going. Because if you keep on stuck and can't move forward, your ability to stay resilient will drop. So ability to come out could be through leveraging on someone, could be leveraging on resources, or could be even leveraging on AI. I think now a lot of people dealing in here, ChatGPT and Gemini and all those DeepSeek could be your best friend, right? Is that the world is transforming fast. And I think to be resilient, we need to stay relevant, right? I still remember I spoke to at a conference where a bunch of deans of business is there. And then business school is actually thinking, how are they going to get instructor, lecturer, professors to be able to train the next batch of MBA students? Because today the market demand is very different. The professors and lecturers are not there ready in the market to be out there to train, right? And I think that's where, or even I spoke at a rural school recently, and I asked the student, this is a primary school, kids 6, 7 to 12 years old. I asked them, how many of you use generative AI, ChatGPT, Gemini to do your homework? It's 100% hands up. And then the teacher came and asked me, what is ChatGPT? So it's actually quite crazy, right? If you think on it, right? The world is changing so fast. But if you think on it, the teacher has taught that for 20, maybe not in that school, but have been teaching it for 20 years, 25 years, right? And they'll be teaching almost the same way, maybe slight tweak here and there. But now suddenly, whatever they teach and everything, the students are doing the assignment instead of 2 hours, it's now 20 seconds, right? And the students are outsmart because the technology. And even now, if you talk to kids, 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, many of them are super smart, really beyond what I think we were right back then.
No, I think like just to summarize kind of like the key concepts that I got, right? One is definitely motivation. 2 is action. I think the third one that you mentioned, if I were to put it in a word, is really finding that momentum. If there's no momentum, it's hard to continue, as you mentioned. And I think an interesting concept that you also brought up is relevance, right? And I wanted to end this call on that note of relevance, right? And I think we're in a time where there's a shift towards certain things becoming obsolete, certain things being replaced by AI and whatnot and other types of technologies. There's also this whole reckoning, I guess, of the relevance of venture or kind of like startups and all these things in a time where there's a lot of things happening in the space. I wanted for you to share a little bit of kind of like some big picture thoughts on, what continues to excite you personally and continues to motivate you personally as you talk to founders, as you advise them, and as you invest as well from an angel standpoint.
Yeah, maybe I'll talk this on 2 parts, right? The one is on the last questions on this, and the other one is on the word relevance, right? Maybe I'll go to the word relevance and I come back on this, right? What I talk to people that keep me going. I think the word relevance, I think in the end, the technology and things will shift. But I think if you think like go down the fundamental, are we making lives better? Are you making it easier, cheaper, better, faster? Forget everything. Forget whether it's AI, forget whether blockchain, forget whether it's IoT or whatever it is. Are we making lives better? Are we making it easier, cheaper, better, faster, right? I think you think on it, in the end, it nails down to this, right? Are we able to make a meaningful enhancement to people's, and when I say people, could be company, could be individual, could be whatever target audience. No one want to be more expensive. No one want to be slower. No one want to be worse off. No one want to be more difficult. When we make that. So if you think on it, net out is that, right? And in terms of for me, my motivation, I think for me is that I'm a people driven more than business, I would say. And I think for me, is seeing the spark, seeing the energy action for people to transform. As I do mentoring, advising, and all this kind of thing, right? And I still spend a lot of time to students, universities. Let's say one of the programs that I'm mentoring for the last 15 years is McKinsey Youth Leadership Academy, where McKinsey got a bunch of associate consultants to put out a program to mentor local university undergraduates. Because McKinsey in Malaysia back then, in the earlier years, most of their hire were foreign graduates, people that study overseas. But they were trying to build a pool of people that could study locally and go in there, right? Who are less exposed to the outside world. So I've been mentoring for that program for 15 years, right? And I think a lot of it is seeing the growth and transformation of the people. All of us start from somewhere. All of us start from zero. No matter how famous someone, maybe of course a few people born into straight away that, but most people start from somewhere. And if you meet someone that is, let's say, Tokopedia, William, he started when, I still remember he was talking about one time when his Tokopedia was very new. He was at a career fair. He was at a career fair 2 days himself, standing there and telling people sign up for Tokopedia. And he couldn't get people to apply Tokopedia because everyone's like, what is Tokopedia, right? I mean, those were maybe 10, 12 years ago when he just started, when the company is unknown. But he went through that, right? Carousel, Silvery, they all have been a flea market and everything trying to sell secondhand products and stuff, right? And build it through. I think many of these stories, or even when I was a uni student, there's this guy that came in and gave a talk that very few people turned up, maybe 10 plus people. I never heard of him. I saw free food, I went in. And that person is Elon Musk, right? He started from somewhere as well. That's 20 over years ago, right? And he's unknown, right? And I think all of us have that moment. And I think it's how do we go in there? And that's why for me, if you ask me, a motivation is that, let's say, for example, this video of this recording, to me is, can I question, ask, inspire, to reflect, get you to reflect and everything, one or two or three or four of the audience here, or maybe hopefully more, that push you to think and do something. Once, take a step different. Take a step towards make life better for someone. And I think I will quote my mentor, Dr. Johan American, who is now the Secretary General of Ministry of Finance. Right. So back then when he was the CEO of Talent Corp Malaysia, he was saying that, let's say, look at a beach. There were a lot of starfish dying on the beach there. We have no chance to save all the starfish. If we pick up one starfish, and that starfish, we put the starfish back into the sea. Yes, in the beach, there's still lots of starfish that's dying. But to that starfish, that particular starfish that we save, we change the starfish life. And the same thing, each of us as we grow out there, each person that we can inspire change, we might change that person, that family, and the impact that the person and that family will go on to make for others. Or sometimes just that we smile to someone or make someone happier. That person ripple effect the next person and make them in a better mood and do it and transform through. So I think it's the ripple action of one at a time. For a founder that built, that is very successful, that built through, you start from one customer, the first customer, the second customer. If you can get each customer to love your product, love your services, you will succeed. If you can't get customer to love your things that you do, no value to them, you will not succeed. And I would say that as a founder, think through. No one cares more about you than you yourself, right? And I think in the end, is the buck stop at you and how do you build through.
So yeah, everything starts with one. And on that note, yeah, I wanted to thank Chen Chow, CC. Thank you very much for coming on call with us. I feel like I have, this is a really jam-packed episode. And there's a lot we can definitely share with our audience that they can take away. And if you do want to continue this conversation, continue this call, if you feel like this was not enough, do reach out to Chen Chow CC and in LinkedIn, the link in the podcast description below. And I'm sure, as he mentioned earlier, if you're able to find these entrepreneurs in that right frame of mind and have some time to talk, they'll be more than generous to share kind of their insight. And definitely Chen Chow is one of those people. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. And yeah, anything else you wanted to add, Chen Chow, to share with the audience before you go?
Yeah, thanks, Paulo, for having this. And I think to all the audience, I think thanks for tuning in Academy on Call. And I think for those of you that haven't signed up for Insignia Ventures Academy, do go and sign up for it if you think this is relevant for you. I think you make the choice, right? I think in the end is you don't want someone to force you to join, but you choose to take that step. And of course, for those of you that are building a startups and whatnot, that you want to find a great VC firm to partner you, don't forget Insignia Ventures Partner. Right? I think wish you all the best. And I think that the focus on making a difference, one customer at a time, making life easier, cheaper, better, faster. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I see the lights are already on in the back. It's getting pretty late. Thanks so much for going on the call again.
Yeah, thank you very much.